Ancestors, study Moorish Holy Quran lessons. Don't be fooled by the leaders, saying they black, taking yellow envelopes, weighing they stacks, sold you out to the lodge, and government corpses sacrifice their own to their pale god bosses. Don't be fooled by the leaders, saying they black, taking yellow envelopes, weighing they stacks, sold you out to the lodge, and government corpses sacrifice their own to their pale god bosses. More's been telling, never to the point of yelling, like black power cowards slaving, never rebelling, backstabber, all talk, never killed a cracker, or killed their own like overseers for slave master, killed their own mentally, not a physical death, not in full life, only civilly dead is left. If you went right, you look up to a conscious dyke, abandoning birthrights for a monstrous fight you're not prepared for, cause you don't study, lack of mental exercise, get minds water sluggy, savior waiting, when Drew said save yourself and learn to love, instead stop hating, shells filled with black books calling us Moors, no need for four-legged beasts mauling us Moors, cause status sets the stage like a costume ball banquet, suffocate devils with a Baphomet blanket.
So I want to left, two on the right. Allah the Father of the universe.
Allah the Father of the universe.
Father of love. Truth. Peace. Freedom. And justice. Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide. And my salvation. By night. And by day. To his holy prophet. Noble
Islam. Peace.
All right.
540.
Starting today with today's modern overseers. Modern overseers. When we go to Black's Law 4th edition, overseer, a superintendent or supervisor, a public officer whose duties involve general superintendence of routine affairs, overseers of highways, the name given in some of the states to a board of officers of a city, township, or county whose special function is the construction and repair of public roads or highways. Overseers of the poor, persons appointed or elected to take care of the poor with monies furnished to them by the public authority. Their duties are regulated by local statutes. Overseers of the poor.
No. And officers, if anything, like there. It says officers.
Any examples of overseers? You just throw them up.
Principal.
Supposed supervisor at work. Co-worker. you know the one I'm talking about.
Oh, I know him.
A preacher, for sure.
Yeah.
Warden.
Well, they're endless, I guess, eh? I got one. Ticket collector. He's definitely an overseer, no?
Collector?
You ain't doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Well, you got to give them the power to be that, no?
Well, the nature alone of him collecting the ticket makes him an overseer, right?
True.
You don't give him the ticket, he's calling someone to come and
Sure.
come and view you.
That's right.
All right. So modern overseers. Principal, boss, co-worker, preacher, pastor, warden, ticket collector. And then we were talking about when we read overseer of the poor, public officers, or and it says public. Public authority. All right. Another so as far as overseers, as we're coming into information and getting, you know, active and whatever like that, these are gonna start becoming more evident. The more we exercise, the more we realize how much people are against us exercising, right? Because the majority of the people who we deal with are falling in, you know, like something over here, right? They're not in the national mindset. They're in the other mindset, and they're on this side, right? The overseer of the poor, and admittedly to them, is an officer, right? Which we already know they have an oath, right? And the public officer is exercising overseership of the poor people based on so-called public authority. Right? And as we know, if there's public, then there's also private. Authority. Now when we go back to slavery era and whatever, overseer was the brother who was on the horse, or the brother with the whip who was doing the beating or whatever like that, right? The middleman, so it doesn't fall back on the slave master when certain things happen, right? So everybody that we engage, majority of people that we engage are going to be on the overseer level, meaning that their only purpose is to keep you in slavery. By whatever means it is that they do, it's up to them, or up to whoever hired them to be, right, public official. Okay? Now the other thing too is overseer is a compound word. So we already know what over is, and then seer
back in the day.
Right. Seer. Clairvoyant. A prophet. Seer is a clairvoyant and a prophet. So our perspective of these, or this side, has to be that they're trying to be over the clairvoyant one that we consider to be who we're supposed to follow, or use as an example for ourselves. Right? With them taking that position of, overseer, we have to make sure that we play the role of witness for each other, right? Like, which is why we go with the documents, sealing our own stuff, and make sure we have witnesses opposed to going to a notary, because the notary is overseer. And then that just gives them jurisdiction in our affairs that they really shouldn't have anything to do with, but because of the whole public office and public authority, etc., they assume that the people that they're dealing with are slaves, so they have to take the overseer position, right? When people attempt to be over the prophet, they got ego issues. So if we go to the principal, majority of them, they think that it's all up to them or whatever, because he's the head of the school, but he has a boss. So he doesn't really have that much power like he talks about he has, right? The guy who says that he's the boss, if it's a corporation, more than likely, he's not even head of anything or whatever, so he has to be looked at from a certain perspective. Co-worker, same thing. If we go to, we use the example of go to a food store, herring your food, you're not going to sit there and argue with the cashier. You're going to take it to past the overseer, right? Preacher, pastor, warden, right? The routine, okay? Now they're exercising what they call, right, public authority. But then there's a thing called private authority. But the overseers, like when, let's say you have a situation, let's say like we use justice for example, right? Justice took the position of being down with the Moors, right? When he went down with the Moors, actually no, we use a better one. We use Brother Patrick in Montreal. Right now, he has a situation where he got fined for something, right? The head prosecutor the head prosecutor who's part of his case, right, is lost. The head prosecutor who's a part of his case is friends with his family, right?
The plot thickens. Okay.
So he took the position of, okay, well, you know what, I'm connected to the Moors, so I'm gonna deal with them in the writ or whatever. So he sent writs to this prosecutor, right? Prosecutor received the writs, went to the parents, right? Showed the parents, right? Showed the parents, stating how the parents are, how do you put it again? Basically, the prosecutor made the parents pay the fine.
You basically say they were not doing their duty to look after the child or whatever.
As an overseer. Right. So because they're
dereliction of duty or something.
But he's over the age of 21, so
yeah, right, exactly, right.
Not a child anymore.
So because it's assumed, right, that he's a ward, then they went to the overseer with regard to this matter, because we're trying to get a hold of the minor, but we can't get a hold of the minor. There's this other guy saying that he's the ex-relation or something like that. You know what that is, right? So, being that you're the parent, you know, the responsibility, you know, is falling on you because your child hasn't handled his responsibilities or whatever, right?
Mhm.
So they got the fine paid fee going directly to the overseer, right? And then they're able to do that because the child who's now of age or majority or whatever didn't take the steps to notify everybody about how serious the claim is that he's making. They might have notified them, oh yeah, you know, I'm studying this and whatever. But there has to be like there has to be something to get them to see that it's legit, so they can back it. So as soon as the slave master, public officers, servants, or whatever come and they question about the child, the overseer can make the statement, oh, you're talking about so-and-so, the other name or whatever, right?
Mhm.
Because the individuals who are playing the role of overseer are more than likely an overseer unknowingly.
Right.
They're an overseer based on circumstance. They're an overseer based on them being ignorant of what's really going on, what's really at play.
Mhm.
So we have to take the position of, like when we say with the proclamations and you know, nationality cards, things like that, to make sure that it's known that this is the position. That's why we do everything as a unit. That's why I'm saying the cards as the unit, so everybody knows, you know, whoever received those knows that, okay, these are a group of people working together.
Mhm.
That's why we have in the paper, we have the proclamation. It doesn't talk about, you know, Cujo is the, and then Amari is the, it says the Moors.
So what type of what is the body of the proclamation you gotta hold?
What does the body have to hold?
Yeah, what are you talking about in the proclamation? I'm sure there's status, right? But it's not like, say, you're suing anyone.
Well, before we even sue, we have to put status on the record.
Yeah, but dealing with the proclamation though, right?
Yeah.
Like what's so you're just stating that you're an indigenous person?
Yep.
And what else?
So we're stating to all elected United States, Canada, Republic officials and public servants of federal, state, provincial, city, and municipal governments, personnel, and corporate entities concerning the Constitution and all statutory and civil law codes of the land, etc., know all men by these presents. Upon our inherited nobility and upon our private Aboriginal, Indigenous, proper person status and commercial liability, we Moorish Americans, being duly affirmed under consanguine unity, pledge our national, political, and spiritual allegiance to our Moabite Moorish nation, being in archaic Aboriginals, indigenes of Amexum, the Americas, standing squarely affirmed upon our oath to the 5 points of light, love, truth, peace, freedom, justice. Do squarely affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and having knowledge and firmly established belief upon the historical, lawful, and adjudicated facts contained herein, being competent in my own proper person to attest to this affidavit upon which we place our signatures. Whereas we state, proclaim, and declare the following to be true, correct, certain, absolute, not misleading, supreme, and not intended to be presented for any misrepresented, colored, or improper use or purpose, to wit, that we Moorish Americans are nobles of the Moroccan Empire in propria persona, in my own proper self, being Moorish American, a descendant of the ancient Moabites, Moors by birthright, freehold, primogeniture, and inheritance, being Aboriginal and indigenous to the lands, Amexum, Americas, territorium, of my ancient Moabite, Moorish foremothers and forefathers, to wit, the Moroccan continents are the lands of the Moors, being North America, South America, Central America, including the adjoining islands, Americana, Amaru, Al-Maroc. We have acknowledged, claim, and possess the primogeniture, the freehold status thereto, all unalienable and substantive rights to be, to enjoy, to act distinct in our aboriginal customs and culture, and determining my own political, social, and economic status of the state. We are turning our hearts and minds back to our ancient mothers and fathers, Moors, who were and are without doubt or contradiction, who we are without doubt or contradiction, by divine and natural right. Being Moorish American, we have and possess the internationally recognized rights to determine our own status of the state, absence of threat, coercion, or acquiescence to the color of law, a color of office, nor to be subjected to an imposed color of authority. Moorish Americans have proclaimed and possessed the unalienable substantive right and birthright, inheritance to our Al-Moroccan names and nationality by nature's laws, divine law, primogeniture, and by recognized laws of the nations of the earth, international. Being the true ancient aboriginal indigenes of the land, America, North, being the heartland of the Moroccan Empire, Moors are the de jure freeholders by birthright, inheritance, and primogeniture status, and have claimed and possessed the secured rights to travel upon the public roadways, byways, and highways of our continental United States organic land, absent of foreign, colored, or imposed excise taxation constructs invented by the racketeering state legislatures to abridge, escheat, and steal rights belonging to natural peoples. The substantive rights are supported by and asserted by royal law, Moorish law, Muslim law, the law of the great peace, the laws of nature, divine law, nature's God, the laws of nations, the free Moorish Great Seal Zodiac Constitution, and affirmed by Articles 4, Articles 4 and Article 6 of the Constitution, Covenant of 1774 to 1781, as lawfully adopted for the United States Republic, establishing its republican form of government. Said Constitution established the people's supreme law of the land to secure the rights of the people and to keep government bound and in check by official oath and by official bond. Down from the ancient ones, our primogeniture's documents, the supreme law of the land, ecclesiastical body politic and corporate by affidavit of organization, document number 101-05905, form 1099, Heard Smith's Revised Statutes, chapter 32, section 36, State Recorder of Deeds, Office, County of Cook, Mecca, Illinois State Republic, August 1st, 1928, at 2:52 p.m. by political status. And then it goes on to talk about the case law that deals with right to travel and the fact that people have that divine right, or natural people have that divine right. It goes into speaking about jurisdictions and appearances and detentions and arrests and things like that. It goes into different sections of United States law and Canada law that basically validate our position, like what we're saying, right? And then at the end of it, it has the seal of the so-called
Hey, that seal
government.
looks very authentic, man. You have that seal?
Yeah, because we have private authority.
So what other type of ideas could we put in like a proclamation to give us some more juice?
Well, any more juice than what's in there. So if we do put more juice in there, then we're going from an 8-page paper to a 16-page paper.
No, we got like
costs more.
do it in like
A
one
writ?
article, one article.
Too much info.
Yeah, but that's what proclamations are. It has to be educated and informative.
No, this is not this is a
A proclamation is just an announcement. Like Emancipation Proclamation that he did, it was just an announcement that you're free, but you still got to take the steps to become free.
Okay.
yeah, you proclaim this, I'm free, but those steps still have to be taken. For instance, you say you're free, but how are you free? Right? Like we've proclaimed that this is our land, this is who we are. However, we are nationals doing it. So we're taking the steps onwards to do it. So we send that proclamation out. This is who we are, this is what we're doing. Then we take the steps after.
Because you don't want to do things. It's like if you live in an apartment and landlord shut the water, right? That's a violation of Landlord Tenancy Act, because he's supposed to give notice,
Yes.
quote unquote. He's supposed to proclaim
Yes.
that we're going to be shutting the water off between 9 and 4. Make sure you and give you some instructions. Put the notice somewhere where everybody could see it, right? Newspaper, everybody could see it. All you gotta do is just put it out there. Whether they pick it up and read it, all the pages, is irrelevant. The point is that it's made public so that people could read it to know what it's about. If they don't read it, then it's on them if they don't read it. Right? But the proclamation is there so they know that we don't need any overseers.
Overseers. What do you mean overseers?
Right? Right? We don't need anybody to be a middleman with regard to us. Right? Like if we to public servant, police is an overseer.
Yeah.
Right?
It's
If
like a third party
you
anybody.
get stopped, yeah. Third party,
Like the
anybody.
agency.
Somebody whoever, anybody. Once they're third party. Once they don't have anything to do with you directly, they're probably overseer. Right? If they stop you just walking up there, you say, here's my nationality card. Automatically, they can't oversee you.
I'm different though. I don't really like to show everybody that because not everyone will understand it, and it's not really for them.
And
Well,
and you're right about that.
You're right
The
about that.
prophet says don't
it's
don't
not- it's not
agitate
a-
the people. So
It's
you're
not
right. But
it's not a thing where you're just gonna, stick it on your shirt and walk around with it, right? But if you get challenged on certain things, well, there was a robbery and we think you did. You guys wear a plaid shirt, a beanie, blue jeans, black shoes. You fit the description of that guy.
But in order for that to be law, right, it has to have some type of effect. It has to have like a reason and a cause, right? And I'm sure
Yeah,
there's other
there was a
causes
robbery.
to why a law would basically be able.
there was a
to that
robbery.
be- For that type of assumption to be like lawful. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
There was a robbery. There was a robbery and somebody said, guy had a plaid shirt, green beanie on, blue jeans, black shoes. You fit that description. So we just want to ask you some questions because there was a robbery.
Yeah.
And being that, out there is their society, right? It's not really their society, but they're pushing it as that, right? They're gonna exercise a certain way out there. Like that's just what they're gonna do. They're gonna exercise based on what power they've had for the past however long they've had power. Right?
Do you think this is like it's black people against white people? Like the movement? Or is it just like law, like understanding, okay, well, differently. I know you got a good scenario, right? And it's just a scenario, but, me personally, I'm not really friends with cops, so I don't really be talking to cops, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
but
have no reason to like call the cops to say, okay, well,
well,
something
call
yada
them
yada
and-
is going down.
Calling them and whatever is different. But if we're out here and we have to engage them, you might have to talk to them. And if you never did anything, What's wrong with talking to them? Especially if you know the law. What's really wrong with talking to them? Because that's really gonna be the test. What do those guys know? Because he's the one walking around with badge, gun, and all that stuff. So he should know something with regard to the law. So why not talk to him? Like, why not talk to him? Right?
Well, I have a reason to talk to them. If only talk to them, you got a reason to
Come here.
No, but going back to the same thing, like not every European is your enemy, and not every Moor is your friend. So why wouldn't you talk to him? You don't know. He could be coming and asking you a question because, you know,
Well,
he just wants to do his job. Just question you because thing came over the radio, a guy with a green shirt.
I think the
You know,
point.
I just need to ask him questions.
I think the point.
Is that like a
Personal.
When they say like
You know?
judicial, right? Is judicial
Judicial.
judicial?
Yeah.
Excuse me. So that's law, right?
That's one branch.
So explain that over there, because I don't really know that poster, you know, and it looks interesting, but
Yeah, don't worry about that one. Worry about the one here. Because that's the same thing as what we got here. We have
the
federal,
same thing too.
provincial, municipal.
Yeah.
3 levels of government. And that's the exact same thing as what we have here.
Okay.
And what do we know about that as of right now? All that's dissolved. Means that it's non-existent. Means that the only way that has power is if we talk about it.
Is those 3 points the same way the Morris Science Temple like exercise government?
Like, is there equivalent
To a degree, you know, the judicial would be the muftis, because they're the ones that deal with the law,
Okay.
right? They're the ones that fine people and tell people that they have to go to court or whatever like that, right? The legislative makes changes to the laws or whatever like that. So the legislative would be legislative and executive kind of coincide because
So
it deals with
like business
making
law.
law and carrying out law.
Okay.
So making law and carrying out law is done by a grand chief, chairman,
Assistant Grand Chief.
assistant grand chief, the heads of deal with these 2 parts, right? And then the muftis will deal with this part. But all the branches of the Morris government, their job is to deal with the people. Their job is not to, we're the executive, legislative, judicial officers of the Morris Science Temple, so you have to listen to what we say. You're the one that gives the orders to those 3 branches based on your level of
Yeah, the people
Of knowledge.
because they gotta like govern the society.
right. Yeah, without the people, that's nothing. Without the people, just like their system is nothing without the overseers.
It sounds simple as is, man. That's why it like comes back to like business aspect of things, because that's how we can basically govern. We can position like we can basically have what you call it right now, like people being a part of something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just to give like the whole understanding, like say for instance like how the Nation of Islam did it, right? They had schools, right? And they were like talking about like all different types of stuff at school. They gave knowledge of science, what else? Science, math,
So if we use them for example,
Yeah.
right? Everything that they did, right? And we're giving what they did some validity because they did stuff. They had schools, they had businesses, they had all this stuff, right? They call themselves a nation. Are they a nation?
Yeah. Of course
The Nation of Islam is a
because
nation?
the people who just live in this side, what they will be called then.
What's the people in the Nation of Islam's nationality?
Islam.
Their nationality is Islam?
What were they? Were they followers of Muhammad?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not Nation of Islam.
No, but
I'm just questioning. Like if they say that they're a nation, right, of Islam,
so they Muslims then,
right?
Right.
Okay, their religion is Islam, right? Okay, which would mean that they're Muslim, right? But what's their nationality? If they say that they're a nation, because this is what they say. They say that they're a nation. So if they're a nation, then they should have a nationality.
And what was that? Okay, so
Have you ever heard them say that they have a nationality?
Okay. Question then. This is a good one. How does the Canadian government, when you know that article, you read it, right?
Which one?
The Suns, where they were talking about how the foreign minister, he welcomes Islam, right? How has it been like the Canadian government like demonstrated some form of embracing Islam,
Yeah.
right, within the culture?
Well, they have to.
No, how has they? Like, what evidence have you seen?
How have they embraced Islam?
Yeah.
By signing. Signing UN declarations.
Okay.
Because the UN declarations comes out of the League of Nations, right?
Did you know that Canada is part of the U.S.?
Yeah.
Okay, so seeing that Canada is part of the U.S. and ultimately that makes us a state, you know what I mean? Because everything and all this stuff is done with like a whole bunch of states.
Yeah, but there's state, there's estate, and then there's corporate state. So which one is Canada and the U.S.?
Canada's corporate.
All right. And which one's U.S.?
It's state. Oh, it's still corporate.
All right. All right. So if both of them are corporate states, and then we're saying that we don't need any overseers or whatever because we're not corporate people, then whatever Canada and U.S. says is irrelevant.
Okay, so I'm trying to piece together this declaration. I mean, this proclamation, right?
Yeah.
Because a proclamation is what's going to make us not need any overseer.
Right.
So how okay, give me some pointers too, because I'm listening to you, and I don't need to take the notes, but I'm listening to you, man.
So okay,
right
maybe
now.
I can try.
I'm trying to put like a proclamation.
Yeah, if Moore's got something to add on to.
I don't really.
I'm just okay.
I want to venture in uncharted waters and try to do some.
Okay, so maybe I can try. He started off by trying to explain to you that if you were walking down the street as a indigenous person to this land, then someone coming up to you, this peace officer or overseer, trying to stop you and stop your energies from going a place, couldn't do that. That was connected to the proclamation, which would have been out there stating that we're all able to just walk the land without the corporate overseer telling you which way to go
Right.
or how to do that.
Right.
So that's what that was all about when he was getting on that.
I feel you, but I'm just saying, like, okay, give him some pointers then. Give the brother some pointers.
No,
because I'm
but
asking
then
the
you
brother
jumped over to the
I'm asking
nation.
Grand Sheik right here, and Grand Sheik is probably because we want to put this together, right? We're doing it as one, right? That's what proclamations are. So we're doing it together. You know,
So I'm trying to clarify for you because I think I get it. So what you were talking about now is Nation of Islam, which was almost another nation, but that's another corporate nation too. So what they've been trying to do is they've been trying to put a jacket on us, put something on us that's not ours. so that they can control us. Because technically, when that man walks down, when you walk down the street, that person can't say anything to you because he's not indigenous. But unfortunately, if you put yourself into that corporate state, if you make yourself Canadian, or if you make yourself Nation of Islam, then all of a sudden you are under their jurisdiction. But what he's trying to say is by that proclamation saying that all of us are Moors, we are connected to the land and don't have any connection with them. They're here as visitors and they have no right. But once you sign off on saying that you're part of their thing, then they have the right to stop you, question you. That's where he was going with that whole description of you looking like that. Because if you walk out of here right now and you want to go home and they think a crime happened, they can stop you from going home until they figure out whether you're involved with whatever's going on. They can actually lock you up and take you away. But if you then show them your card and say, you got no right to talk to me, then they have to go away. So that's what that was all about. So you sort of get it too, but you might be sort of a little, just trying to clarify, but that's where that proclamation comes in. We're trying to notify everyone.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to tell everyone, hey, we're here, you don't have any rights, this is our seal, leave us alone. That's where that card comes into it.
Clear, or you need more? Is there more?
You probably need to...
It's a vague, you know what I mean? It's not really, you know, the answer to the question, just one around it.
Forget about what they recognize. It's all about you recognize your own stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like but we're building upon just the recognizing, just the recognition of it, right? We're building upon this, right?
But it's already recognized. Remember, when we, in that proclamation, when we talk about, like for example, when we say, the Great Seal Pyramid is the national emblem and insignia of the Moorish Nation Empire of North America. The Great Seal is also the archaic symbol for civilization on the planet Earth. The Honorable Moor's acknowledgement of our Great Seal indicates those heirs who are up to, who support, and who proclaim our free national government. Moors who are active and not passive are emissary, special Moorish envoy, non-enemy, non-combatant in amity, in the social, civilization, culture, and custom matters involving law, order, and governmental principles, are hereby entreated to support this affirmation. Moors who strive toward this end with honor are entrusted by Noble Drew Ali to help in the great humanitarian work of uplifting ourselves, our fellow man, and of all Moorish Americans, etc. That's something that everybody knows. That's not something that, because we put it in the proclamation and we're trying to put it out there, that people out there don't know about what's in this. People already know about what's in this. This is just validating the position that we're taking, that we know that we're the actual heirs to the land. But if you don't recognize that you're the natural heir to the land, don't expect them to recognize it, because they're not going to recognize what you don't.
Well, to add to it too is that them being a corporate state, they cannot recognize an indigenous. They can't. They cannot, because they're corporate. They're below the indigenous already.
Which state?
You mentioned Canada. You mentioned the United States.
They cannot acknowledge it.
They cannot acknowledge it because they're corporate. Because they're a corporation.
Their authority.
That is it right there.
Exactly.
That is the exact answer right there. They cannot recognize your status because they are below your status.
So how would the Canadian government like dictate flow of people's energy? How would they still be able to regulate that? Because
the indigenous who are supposed to be in charge, who are supposed to be in control, are not doing it. So if that estate, as he's mentioned as well too, that's a perfect example. The estate has been abandoned. So the whole of North America, South America is abandoned. So somebody has to do something with it. If the true heirs of the land is not doing anything with it, somebody has to do something with it. So the corporation steps in and says, you know what? We'll administer this estate right now because it's abandoned. But they're only doing it at the corporate level. But once we make our proclamation that, listen, this estate is not abandoned anymore. This is our land. We got to start exercising and start doing it. We've proclaimed it. That's what I mentioned to you before. We've proclaimed it. We just got to start doing it and keep doing it.
Right, like for example, if you go do research on Canada or United States acceptance of Islam, right? They'll say they accept it. They'll say that, especially the U.S.
Well, I'm still trying to figure out how the U.S. is able to, like, you know, fluctuate if okay, let's say the individual, right, the indigenous man, right, presents himself, and he already done flown his flag, he already done presented his status. How are they still able to regulate the flow, my flow of travel? I don't understand. If I oversee,
your state has been abandoned.
Past theirs.
Your state has been abandoned.
What estate? Already done proclaimed a status.
Yes.
Already done established my estate.
Are you exercising that?
I'll
give you a more probably a more real answer.
It's probably not aware.
I'll give you a more real answer to that.
The ones that are not aware, but it's already has been established.
The real answer to that is that they don't want to give up what they have, so they're just going to keep pushing that position. That, hey, we're in control. You're our property.
Well, that objection right there is like already done. That's like, you know what I mean? It's
I know,
soft though. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm agreeing with you.
The argument is soft because what I'm saying though is that I've already done. We already done. Okay, case in point. My position surpassed
their position.
Yeah, but you've been doing your position for 24 hours. They've been doing theirs for centuries.
Case in point, my position surpassed even off their working hard and their busting sweat, Virgin.
What? It comes back down.
Still,
yeah,
surpassed it
for sure. But it comes that down to if you haven't made a claim, right? And they've been making claims. They've been making claims that they're presidents of stuff, prime ministers of stuff,
police officers.
They make claims
judges.
that they're judges.
No. I don't think you understand. I don't think you understand. I'm not attacking what they have taken, titles to, or they have claimed.
No, that's what the argument is, because
I'm not challenging that.
Yeah, but
what I am challenging is they saying, okay, what is fictitious, right? Their claim to me is fictitious,
right,
and I am challenging that.
Right, and you have a right to challenge it, and you should challenge it.
Yes, that's the only thing that I am arguing here.
But don't be naive. You think that, well, because you proclaim something.
Nobody isn't abandoning anything.
Because you proclaim something.
It's not abandoning.
Yeah, but if you just found out about this today, yesterday you abandoned it, and 500 years before that you abandoned it.
I fixed the situation. I didn't abandon it. Not in
24 hours.
I didn't technically say. I said they're not aware of it. Now they're aware of it. So whatever,
Yeah, but that's what Brother Marlon was saying. That yes, they're aware. They're aware of it.
It's null.
But are you active?
But okay,
you're aware of it.
To add to the point. Sorry,
go
is this. Okay, we are a nation, we says, right? We're a nation. Now, tomorrow, the Prime Minister says, you know what? We just received from Moorish Science Temple of America in Canaanland that this is their land, they're going to do what they want to do with it. You know what? Let them do what they're supposed to do with it, and let's just sit back. As I said, are you ready?
I am saying that two things is happening right here. There is ones that have taken position, right? And they're of a fictitious, something that's imaginary. None of us have seen it. We only see what we see right here.
Yes.
And what we see right here, there's something that they have basically they acknowledge, whether it's open and people are aware of it, they acknowledge it.
Yes.
Right?
The truth.
Yes.
Yes.
So the ones them knows that, okay, this one is blind, right?
Yes.
But now this one has recovered his sight.
Right.
Okay.
You see, I don't
Yes.
know how to make it
No,
even
no,
more
no, you're correct.
vague than
You're-
possible.
No, but
here's what
but
I'm saying.
that
Here's what I'm
we're
saying.
still on the same playing field, okay? No one
Yeah.
hasn't left anything. It's not
Okay.
like say, okay, I don't know your business, you don't know my business. You're probably preventing my business from really doing
Okay.
something.
Okay.
It's not doing anything. It's sitting here
Okay,
stalled,
but
stagnated.
in a way
with
that's
the
going back
proper
around and
person,
around.
with me, the proper person.
Yes, that's
Okay.
going around and around. The question is, as I just mentioned, in regards to our nation, we've proclaimed it. Yes. Okay. But we have to start moving now. That's the second step. Now the third step is we have to take back our own land. Are we ready to do that as a nation?
I
that's the
haven't even deal with other people. I'm
Okay.
still on me.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
but
I'm still
stop right there.
establishing the
Stop right there.
status.
Are you the nation?
Of course I am the nation.
Okay.
I'm a monarch. I'm a state of
Absolutely,
its own.
absolutely. So, us going out there now, we proclaimed it. We're moving. We're doing stuff that we need to do. Then what? What else are we supposed to do?
Okay, but we
Because-
haven't even gotten to like folks even wanting to like.
Okay, we're going back to that
recognize there's
recognizing.
two things happening here. Okay,
We're going back
not
to the
big
recognizing.
about the other one. The other
Yeah.
one is that we see each other.
Yes.
That's the people, right?
Yes.
And none of us are acknowledging that we see one another. We want. to
Who's not
acknowledge-
acknowledging?
We want to acknowledge the fictitious thing, whether the fictitious thing pays us money and yada
But-
yada yada.
But
right?
that seems to be going backwards,
But
though.
I'm saying that's still in the mix of it. It's
Yes.
still in the
We
mix.
know that, and that's all. I hear you. I hear you, but we know that. No, sorry, but we hear you. We like that's exactly where we're going. But as I said, we have to start somewhere. First thing you gotta do is you gotta proclaim it, or else it's still abandoned.
Right back to where we were.
Well, that's
Right.
it.
But
That's
no.
the whole thing.
But
How
no.
are we gonna know?
Watch what you're saying now, right? That we're right back to the same
Yes.
part again, right? Why? Because all we're talking about is proclamation.
Yes,
Activity is the next.
It's the next thing.
Next step.
that's why I asked. We're
Yeah,
a
we could
nation. What are we gonna do?
We could proclaim. We've proclaimed. We've been proclaimed.
But-
That's
but
not the
we-
first
but
proclamation
only-
that came out.
Like this group is talking about stuff that is like the whole city or the whole country.
100%.
You know what I mean? But the whole
100%.
country is not in here right now. So
Yeah,
we
but
gotta
that's-
deal
that's-
with
But that's why we have to go out and notify everyone and then show them by our works that that's what it is. It's like we're rangers and what we have to do is start to go and clear the forest. But there's only 8 of us. And it's a huge forest. It's a whole country that we got to clear. So we got to start waking people up and giving them
Yeah.
machetes and start cutting down the trees.
I want to work with what's already been established and what exists
It's a
right
small
now.
little- it's a small
this thing
little
that
temple.
exists, this thing that exists is I see us as the people, right? I'm not seeing us as the fictitious part that I have to really save because that's not really gonna save me.
I feel
You
like
see what
that's
I'm
the
saying?
fall. Everybody wants to jump on.
Yeah,
what's already
that
been-
is the
no, no,
fall.
But everyone wants to jump
Yeah.
on everything that's already been.
But that's what we said. First, you gotta
got-
proclaim
you
it.
got people doing the main work, and people
Yeah.
want to jump on board after
Yes,
the fact. Like,
and
how
that's
does
what's
that work?
happening. Well, it's gonna happen
You know?
because you
That's-
got.
people
It's
that-
gotta
that's like-
start.
How is it fair? It's fair that we already have it, but we're losing sight of we the people. Okay,
But you
we
just
the
said that
people,
you're
we
the
the
nation,
people,
though.
We the people. Hang on.
Yeah, but you said you're the
we
nation.
We the people. We're not gonna run into something that everybody ain't gonna be down with. Everyone has to be down with that first of all. Okay. Now, if
But everybody's
few
not gonna be
if
down
few
with
wants
it.
to be wayward, allow that. You know what I mean? Because the two things are happening here, and the fact that there was we the people, I'm not gonna really get too possessive of the people, and more or less if I have business with the fictitious thing, and the business with the fictitious thing is my bread and butter. Whoop-de-doo that day. Hang on to that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's what we're saying.
Hang on to that. I'm not challenging your point of view. You know what I'm saying?
No,
I'm
that's
just saying
fine.
that when it comes
Challenging,
to-
that's the full
I'm just
point.
saying when it comes to my point of view now of realizing that there's two things happening. Whether me and you are on the same connection of I realize that you know we the people is visible. Okay, you want to do your energy, you know, do your energy. My whole talking about my understanding of abandoning the people-wise is different from abandoning fictitious intimate. Or,
But see, that's the whole point. We're not
fictitious
supposed to be
items, you know
engaging
what
Sorry,
with
can I
the
just ask
fictitious.
again? I think you said that there was two things going on. Can you reiterate what those two things were again that you said was going on?
Okay,
Just so I can clarify.
what is it that you didn't understand?
You said that there was two things that you think were going on here.
Okay, the two things is that we the people, okay,
Right.
regardless of governments, because one clan wants to go left and the next clan wants to go right.
Okay.
Right?
So that's one.
So what I'm saying is that we the people, right, I understand that there's different interests
Okay.
of the fictitious
Yeah,
intimate,
okay,
right?
right.
Or the fictitious item, whatever
Right,
it is.
right.
You know, because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
haven't seen it.
the straw, let's say, or whatever, right?
Right.
The fake person.
I
and
haven't
the-
seen it, right?
Right.
So whoever has claim to that,
Right.
keep that.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? I
Okay.
still see we the people.
Okay, so that's one. So what was the second thing? You said
The second thing is the imaginary friend.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but look at even if you look at it like
Because
look
it's
at
a straw. I have never seen the straw.
yeah, you have never seen it, but
I have
if you're
never
not-
been able to use a straw.
Yeah, but if you're
That
not-
straw,
But they've been using
Yeah,
the
but
straw
they're-
on you.
so that's a straw. That's a straw. That's the reason why it's a straw. It's a draw on something else.
But the
not-
problem is that once you accept that, they can then lock you up walking the streets. That's what the
they can't
real.
lock you up because I foresee. I go over. I'm the overseer basically for that straw, but no one wants to.
But you just said you haven't
play with
recognized
that,
it.
even to even get like a small. You remember what I was talking to you about the other time when we talked about status, and tomorrow you were there, right? We get in the society that we live right now, Canada, right? As far as my simple basic understanding is, because I'm not really a stellar novelist on this. I don't know anything about that. Okay, I'm gonna let that be known, right? But we're supposed to be basically getting something out of it.
But okay, wait.
So because
Something
we
out
are the
from
people,
who?
We're
From
the
who?
people. We're the people.
From who?
Whether we're a part of secret societies,
No.
because that's the
Something-
group
something
that
out of-
controls it or what.
Something out of what, though?
What?
Something out of
Using the
what?
straw.
No.
right?
Okay, but we just said
No,
we're not
but
going to
we're
recognize
getting
that
anything
straw.
From using the straw, so why is the straw taking place?
Okay, but wait.
For people who has a straw.
But wait a second, sorry. But brother, you just said that we shouldn't even recognize that straw. That straw is there, like, okay, leave
imaginary.
it.
No,
It's
I-
imaginary. So how could we get something that's out of imaginary?
Okay, so I'm saying because I can't.
Okay, but
I
that's
think-
where I go to the estate.
I'm not.
Understand what the estate is. It's been abandoned. That
It's been
estate,
abandoned.
the estate has been abandoned.
abandoned because
That's
we're trying to
the
get benefits
estate
from the
has been
straw.
abandoned.
Oh, the Islam state has been abandoned.
No,
The
the
we the
estate,
people has
the
been abandoned.
straw has been abandoned. The estate has been abandoned. You have abandoned your birthrights. Your birthrights being abandoned, it's just sitting there. So if you're not going to do anything with your birthright, somebody else will.
Well,
and
that's what
somebody
I'm trying
else-
to do something with my birthright.
Okay, but wait a second. You just said before that
Your birthright isn't the straw.
your birthright is
My
like
birthright isn't the straw. The straw is somebody else's thing. I'm not arguing somebody else's thing.
no,
I'm trying
but
to
you just
argue
said
my
that
inalienable
you
rights.
don't want to have anything to do with the straw.
No, the straw is not my business.
But
The
you just
straw
said
has
you
no
want to
business
get
with me.
something from the straw. How do you get something out of the straw?
I am saying that the straw is not my business.
Absolutely, that's
So I
fine.
can't argue about something that's not my business.
Okay,
because
yes,
I'm in the wrong.
but then you followed up and you said that you want to get something from
My
the
brother,
straw.
what I was saying to you before you took me on this array, right?
No, this is not right. This is
Was-
what you
was-
said. Like, let's
was this-
rewind
this
the
is-
tape. This is what you said.
All due respect to you, brother.
Am I right or am I wrong? I'm just asking.
No disrespect, bro.
Okay,
all
there's no
I was
disrespect
saying,
either.
All I'm saying was I didn't understand
Mhm.
something that you said about using certain things, the ins and outs of how certain
I didn't give any.
how the fictitious could be beneficial to the natural person, right?
The fictitious isn't beneficial to the natural person.
No, hear what I'm
There's no
saying.
benefit.
Stop interrupting me, bro. Because you're gonna make me lose sight. You're gonna make me have to explain you, and then I'm gonna lose sight of what I'm saying. Okay, what you were saying was the whole how it was beneficial. Now, something I didn't understand how it was beneficial to me when it's not. I can't really use it. I haven't never really said out of my own mouth, other than what I have Okay, I've never used it in the terms where it's like benefiting me, right? When I mean benefiting me, I mean benefiting me outside of when I was apart or I felt like I was down with the group. You know what I mean? The group.
What group?
Like I was working wise, and I was able to like really get some type of benefit.
Yeah, well, even when you were working, you
straw.
weren't getting a benefit from it.
Okay, case in point, you said there's a way, and you were talking about
way.
ins and outs. I'm not going into it, but you said
Okay.
something about it, and some numbers came up, and I was like, okay, so yo, guess what? Because my name is there, I want some of that number. Remember, and we were
Oh,
at
okay.
that class out in Flemmo. Right?
Yeah.
And we were talking about
Yeah.
it, and he stayed there. I said, oh, I can't get that, but it's to go into a pot for
Okay.
everybody. But I'm saying, I'm still part down with everybody, so at least give me something out of it. At least let me,
Okay.
let me get that once, right?
See, okay.
At least once, that
But remember,
figure once.
that is
What?
get
You know
what?
what I mean?
Can-
I don't
I hear what you
I don't
s-
mind giving
yeah,
back
we
to
remember. I
friends.
remember
like
actually.
that attitude is like a whole
Yeah,
greedy,
but
gluttony type
remember,
attitude that you wanna get
You're going
something.
after something that is not yours.
But hold on. It doesn't make sense that
If
you
that's
know.
the
No,
It
it's-
doesn't make sense that we form a partnership, right?
Mhm.
And we're in the partnership, and yet
But
I'm still like feeling like I'm not even a part of a partnership. It doesn't make no sense to me like that. You see what I'm saying? I said, okay, well, this is my way of thinking because I have plans, right? I'm not
Okay.
there just saying, okay, I want to buy, some clothes
But-
and I'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking them type of money. I'm just saying, okay, well, to get something going so that I can, instead of once I've done proclaim certain things, right?
Yeah,
I
but-
can go move and build.
Yeah, but
I'm
if
talking
you-
building right now.
Yeah, but
see
if
what
you
I'm saying?
proclaim, you're saying you have nothing to do with the straw.
No, I didn't say all
No,
that.
that's
I
what
was
you're
just saying
saying.
that how it was
No,
beneficial
no,
to the
hear what I'm saying?
to me being an actual person.
what I'm
This is
saying?
how it would have been
You know what I'm
beneficial.
saying?
And I
You're
just
not,
want to know how come I couldn't get the
you're
the
not-
benefits from it.
you're not gonna get a benefit when you proclaim. If you proclaim your nationality, you're saying that you have nothing to do with that straw. That's what that means when you say I
don't
proclaim
think
my.
so. I
No,
don't
it's
think
not
so.
what you
Because
think
it's
or not.
supposed to be.
It's what
It's
it
supposed
is.
to still
No,
be
no,
beneficial.
it's
Why
not
would
what
it
you
be like
think.
that? Why would it be like that?
What do you mean, why would it be like that? You
what-
just-
what-
you
Did not
just-
create the straw. They create the straw.
You just said that it's invisible, right?
I just
Hold on,
said
no,
that
you
it
said
would
that
be
it's invisible.
I just
Hold on,
said
hold on.
I just said for the record.
No,
I just said
you
that
said
it
that
would be
the straw
beneficial
is invisible,
that I
right?
could use it that one
You said
time.
the
the
straw
way I
is
said I
invisible,
wanted
right?
to use
You said
it.
the straw is invisible, right?
I said it was imaginary.
All right. So if the straw is imaginary, how do you expect to get something from something that's imaginary? If something's imaginary, how are you going to get something from it?
Do you understand that? Okay, your name
It's
to
a-
work is
That
imaginary.
ain't my name.
But
It's imaginary.
okay, but you get something from it.
I
Yes
don't get
or no?
anything from it. What do I get from it?
You
Tell me something I get from it.
You don't. Okay, are you working?
Yeah.
So you get something from it
What?
because you're a part of a
No, I'm
collective.
asking
and
you,
you're
what do I
working.
get from it? Tell me. I want to know.
You get
what-
your pecuniary income.
No, I
Your
don't get
residual
pecuniary
income
income.
for putting in.
No, you don't. You get an
putting in
income.
agreement with one another.
You get an income.
You get income. Okay, it's called an income.
It's called income. That's
Yes.
fraud.
No, don't knock the hustle.
That's
You
what
don't
it
knock
is.
No,
You
brother.
don't knock
What
the
is the
hustle. That's
hustle?
what it is.
No. For someone that has studied the words and terms, he has a right to explain it how he's explaining
Okay,
it.
okay.
right?
So I'm talking.
So you said the right thing there. You're not studying enough. You're asking
Hold on.
questions that you're not studying enough.
Hold
you
on.
want answers.
Okay, okay.
You should be studying to get the answers and then come and tell people. You're saying things that are showing everybody that you're not studying. Right? So now if you keep coming and doing this every week, how are you going to benefit?
that's
You're not
the part.
benefiting yourself, not about us. Because
That's
everybody in here is
your
doing what they have to
birthright.
do. Right? It's not I can't do it for you, you can't do it for me. Right? We come together as a group to build.
Okay,
but you have to do
said
it for you.
income. You said income because I have some different understanding.
No, there's-
My understanding.
No understanding.
There's no
My
understanding. There's no
My
opinions.
understanding was that I was answering a question and we're building off the question about, I mean, I even told y'all my reasons for my understanding.
Look,
It's
that's
like,
fine,
y'all should have
but-
done.
I don't know if you feel like the income is supposed to be a
It's all good.
benefit, if that's why you're saying that's what he's getting out of the income, because the income is a benefit, but he doesn't see income as,
It's fiat.
yeah,
How is that a
how he
benefit?
looks at it.
It was gold
But
and silver
why are
be
you
something
working
different.
for it then? If it's not a benefit.
Because I work for the communities who I serve. Because I do
Okay,
community
so
work.
let's back to what we done started about, you know, we're part of the community, right? And I'm saying, why would it be a wrong thing? Because I think we're not really, those aren't aware that it's all good. You know what I mean? It's not like, say, I'm trying to shoot down and say it's negative, one is negative from the other, because it's two hands, you know, it goes hand in hand.
No, it doesn't go hand in hand because straw has nothing to do with us.
The reason why it doesn't go hand in hand is because we're not operating with the understanding.
No,
that
because it doesn't. Because we're natural and that's artificial. And natural and artificial stuff don't mix. You're not gonna put a plastic plant in dirt. You're gonna put it in styrofoam. Because natural and artificial doesn't mix.
Okay, cool.
It can't mix because one of them is artificial and one of them is real. Just like Nuwapians and Moors can't mix because one of them is a fraud and one of them is legit. Nation of Islam and Moors can't mix because that's not an Islamic nation and they're running a fraud. And this is legit. Why do you think there's no unity? Because one is oil, one's water. Doesn't
There's
mix.
still no unity with the confusion. You know what I mean? There's still
There's
no unity there.
No unity where? Where is there no unity? Because I could call Moors on the phone right now and they'll say that, yeah, you know, we support Canaanland Moors. Anything you guys need, just let me know and I'll come support you guys. If you guys need a Skype or whatever, I'll do whatever I can to help you guys. There's Moors, that's unity, isn't it not?
Yeah, that's
If we need help, if somebody gets kidnapped out here and we make a call out there, yo, LB, Moore got kidnapped out here. You have some paperwork that we could use? Oh yeah, I got paperwork. I'm gonna email it to you right now, or whatever. Isn't that unity?
Sure.
All right, so that means there's unity. And for us to assume that there's no unity because you know we see these guys over here doing this and these guys doing this and we're assuming that there's no unity when we don't really know that you know unity isn't something that is created. Unity is something that is. Either there's unity or there isn't unity. Like we're not gonna go rally so we can unite. Unity doesn't work like that. Either we're united and we're doing stuff in unity, or we're not. And where you're going is like with the water and oil. The freedman, whatever it is those guys teach, doesn't mix with more science. No matter how people try hard to try to make it mix, try to make think that, well, you know, now that I'm sovereign because I proclaim my nationality, now I can go and I can claim on a straw man and I can do all these things. I can get money from this account because, well, yo, I'm the natural person. Like, why shouldn't I be able to go into that account and go take out, you know, I've been working as that all my life and all this money that they got from me, taxes or whatever, when all that is fraud. So why are you going to want to benefit from a fraud when you could just be done with your nation, right? Talk to the business manager, get a key, open here, be in here from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. as your job, and sell everything that's in here to make yourself some quote-unquote pecuniary income, because that's more pecuniary than going out and getting a job. But if you go out there and get a job, that's not pecuniary. That's income. That's somebody saying, you are a profit off of an investment. Here's your little cut because, you know, you did 15 hours of work, so here's your little cut. Thanks. And we're going to tax that. Thanks. You give me my little extra in tax or whatever. When really and truly, there's no exchange going on there. Right? It's like when people think, well, when I go to the bank and I put money in this envelope and then I put it in the machine, I deposited money. Okay, but when the bank takes all the receipts of everybody who put money in there, and the bank takes all those receipts and then they put it in something. That's also a deposit too. But they're not going to tell people that. Because if people knows that everything's based on deposits, not withdrawals, because you know something, you can't withdraw nothing. Like you can't withdraw nothing from the bank account. You can put whatever you want in there. You can move it around, transfer here, transfer there, transfer this. Why do you think at quote unquote jobs, pay went from a check to direct deposit everywhere? Because they're not dealing with giving anybody anything. They're dealing with bookkeeping. They're running the estate. Because we abandoned it. Because we think that,
You want to run the estate?
Right? We think that we're running the estate.
Don't you think it would be better if everybody runs their own estate and then gives us a reason to like put people back out of the estate? You think that would be a better thing? Because at least
people can run their own estate, but they want to do that as black people that are sovereign. They want to do that studying some free man, whatever. They don't want to acknowledge who Mojwali is, but they want to get piece of the estate and all that. They don't want to acknowledge, the Moroccan flag and that this is Morocco, but they want a piece of the estate. They want to get their little cut on the side because, we came over here from Africa or whatever like that. When what are you talking about? The estate only belongs to the heirs. The estate only belongs to the Aboriginal indigenous people. That's it. And they're the only ones that can talk for it. And if they don't talk for it, then they abandon it. Which is what we've been doing. Abandoning our estate in order to be down with T.O and O.N.
We should write a proclamation.
Proclamation's done already.
Oh yeah?
So for the papers for it.
We should put it up like, to the Prime Minister.
That's done already.
Yeah.
That's what that's the point that people don't get. People think that this is a building with a sign, and then these guys, and then people go in there every Sunday, and they have a class, and then they leave, and then nothing happens other than every Sunday we go in there and we sit down and we ask questions or whatever. Like Amari, he's emailing people all the time about Moors and about our proclamation. Tesba's emailing people all the time about Moors and our proclamation. Matter of fact, that was done. Queen knows, Stephen Harper knows, Ford knows, Bill Blair knows, Johnston, Governor General, he knows, Provost Marshal knows, Moors in Chicago know, Moors in Atlanta know, Moors in Tennessee know, Moors in New York know, Moors in Philadelphia know, Moors in Pennsylvania know.
Every state knows what's up. Every province, every
but what's the problem?
No, there's no
problem is that
people.
The problem is that the people here, not the people here, the people in this jurisdiction think that, oh yeah, those Kudro and Moors or whatever, forget those guys. Those guys are crazy. They don't know what they're talking about. That's what people think about this. I'm telling you.
So it's a good way to reach the people, though.
It's theirs. It comes back to the same thing about abandonment.
It's your birthright.
You know the ones in here, they're really sensitive about approach. Right? So
they're sensitive about approach. Police comes and goes in their pockets. Without anything. Police comes up to them and just.
Do they say anything about that?
They're not saying nothing to them. Hold on. They're not saying nothing to them. We're not even touching people. We move far away. We say, okay, you know what? We're not even going to talk to people. We're just going to put it online for free. If you want it, there it is. Go look at it. It's 2 hours long. You could sit there for 2 hours. You could watch it for 5 minutes, turn it off, not watch it at all.
Okay, so we're not going to do no missionary work. So
every day.
You never seen the signs in the window November 23rd that we're going to be feed the hungry downtown, giving out free food to homeless people and stuff like that.
No, I wasn't around.
It's on the door.
Okay, so
flyer.
So downtown where?
Dundas Square. November 23rd, 6 p.m. We're uplifting. Ask how many black guys are going to be there. Ask if NY is going to be there, feeding the hungry. Ask if the Rastafarians are going to be there, feeding the hungry. Ask the Nuwapians if they're going to be there. Ask the Nation of Gods and Earth if they're going to be there. Ask whoever else that you ever could think of that's been saying that they're for the people or whatever. No,
Paid
just like
for
you
what?
said, it's humanitarian work.
It's
Why are you
people
getting paid for humanitarian work?
So where you guys buying the bread?
You think when people go to
drinks?
you think when people go to save seals or whatever like that from getting stabbed up by fishermen that they're getting paid for that? When people are hanging off side of an ocean liner or whatever, risking their life to save some seals,
doing that.
you think they're getting paid for that? If they're not getting paid for that, then you better not be talking about getting paid for some going and giving out
Hey,
sandwiches.
you gotta understand, I'm talking from a point of view that, I got time, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's not like, say, I don't have like a
Right?
tight routine, you know?
Yeah. Time. If you got time, then you should have lots of money because time is money.
Is that what the saying goes?
I never made it up.
I didn't hear it before.
Right? Time is money. So our thing is get people information and then leave them alone.
So
Let them go do their own studying and finding out what this is about. Because, like I'm saying, we got 400 videos on YouTube. And 6 people up in there. 7 people, 8 people. So obviously, just like Noble Ali said, what are all you Moors doing here? There's only going to be a handful of you saved, and I'm going to have fingers left over. And that's the prophet talking. So we're not expecting no room full of people standing room only because all the seats are taken or whatever. Yeah, that ain't going down like that. All we need is a small number of people who serious about the nationality birthrights, and we'll shut down this city. We only know 50 million people. Because half of them, they don't even want their birthright, but they abandoned it. Right? It's all fun and games. It's all you know, it's all jokes and funny and basketball and whatever until, you know, water's up to your neck. And you realize that, damn, that guy building the ark, we should have actually got down with that guy building the ark. Instead of playing around like, oh, forget that guy. Because trust me, time's going to come.
It's already here, man. Like,
The time's already here.
It's already here.
These people don't even have a chance. You know that they got FEMA coffins and they got concentration camps and all that stuff out there. And they're promoting it too. It's not even like, it's not like they're secret right
They've
now.
proclaimed it already.
They're promoting it.
Yeah.
They're promoting. We have concentration camps for people.
Yeah.
They're promoting that China's buying houses.
Yeah.
To buy a new trade.
You're buying projects.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
But they're buying projects with people living in them.
Yeah.
What's that tell you?
But yeah, it's property.
They're not buying houses that are foreclosed or whatever. They're buying houses, people are in them right now. People are in the house. They don't even own that house. And that house isn't even owned by the bank that they say that China owns that house. And if China's ready, they come take their house. And you can't even say anything about it. Why? Because you abandoned your birthright. But you thought that, you know, the mortgage company, those were the guys. And the renter, that's the actual real landlord, when you're really the landlord.
Question. Can those who taken away our birthright give us back our birthright?
Why would you want to do a part?
Why would they want to do that?
There's the question.
No part. We're gonna hold on to the part.
What?
Right? What would the ones that stole your birthright give back your birthright? Right?
It's a good question.
Would you go to your bank account, put in your card, you have 0 balance. Well, I just got paid yesterday. What's going on? You go inside, find out, oh yeah, you know, these guys ran whatever on your account and they emptied your account with fake checks. Do you expect to get that money back?
As fast as you want it, as fast as you need it.
Or you expect to just go in there and them say, your account was compromised.
So if it gets to that point, then we and them, it can't be no partnership.
Partnership?
It can't be no partnership.
But we and who?
You know what I'm saying? The ones who stole my birthright, and they don't want to give back my birthright. They don't even want to partner up with me. You can't do
Yeah.
that.
So if they don't want to do it,
This is like I'm stuck in quicksand here, girl.
No.
I'm sinking out. I'm going. I'm like, if I'm believing, if you guys want me to believe this, right? Because I think it comes down to it.
Okay, what's this with you guys? What's the you
I
guys?
think this is. I think this is
Who
a
were the
belief
believers,
thing. I think it's a
guys?
belief thing.
Remember.
I'm more beyond.
No, man, it's studying, man. That's okay.
Where is that gotta go?
alright, Mark. Please,
Please, man. What's up?
right?
Let's move on. I'm just saying though, if they're gonna take that, they gonna give it back to me, and they want me to stay on the side of the scale that is less beneficial. And if they were to switch position with me, they're gonna want to jump out of it too. And they don't want to be down with me. They don't want to ride with me or nothing like that.
They already gave up the position. They already came and said, the United States shut down or whatever for 16 days. And nobody didn't do any proclaiming of anything. They just sat there waiting for government to start back up. Parliament shut down. And then Parliament shut down and then they're waiting for...
There's your birthright right there.
Right, look, there's your birthright.
What's that?
Right here.
I don't understand.
Right here. Well, you know this right here.
Okay, so a robot holding a fez.
Alright, so what's that tell you?
What does that tell
My
you?
birthright right
What's
there.
that tell you?
What do you mean?
What's that tell you?
Everybody.
Break it
Okay.
down to me. Break it down.
Okay.
I can't see the picture like how you see it.
If
Okay, well.
if there's a cartoon robot wearing a fez, right? What does that tell you about that cartoon robot's knowledge or that individual who created that cartoon robot's knowledge?
Guys,
I didn't have never seen
I don't know.
Teen
I don't know
Titans.
what to say, man. What do you?
Okay, if you look out the window right now and you see your brother in a fez, what are you gonna think?
There's an allegiance.
What are you gonna think?
There's an allegiance somewhere, right?
I'm gonna think there's a guy with a fence on this one.
And that's it? He's just a guy with a fez on.
Yeah.
Just like anybody else wearing New York baseball
Like
hat.
he's
or
by
whatever.
himself. Yeah.
Okay,
There's a
so-
guy on
You
the
too
bike
serious.
wearing a
Thank
fence on
you
his
guys. Thank you.
So, if you look outside right now, right, and you see a brother in a fez, the only thing that you're gonna think to yourself is, oh, that's just a guy in a fez on. And it's not gonna mean anything to you after that. It's not gonna mean anything. I'm asking you.
No, it's gonna mean. I know what it means.
Right, so
it's
that's
gonna
what I'm
mean.
saying.
So it's I can recognize the meaning of it.
All right,
You know what I
so-
mean?
so-
But I'm just. Okay.
So you recognizing that there's this brother wearing a fez on, right? It's gonna mean something to you, right?
Okay.
Is it? I'm asking you.
Yeah, it would mean something.
All right. So if you see a robot cartoon wearing a fez, that doesn't mean nothing to you? That's just a robot cartoon wearing a fez?
And the robot cartoon's melanated.
But you know something. I don't really watch cartoons, so I would
That's
never
not
learn
the
that.
point.
I'll
That's
never
not
come
the
across
point.
that.
That's the point.
Regardless.
That's the
The
point.
point is I fail to see how you.
Points like what the brother was saying. So if you're not studying, everything that we say, you're going to be lost.
Okay, well yes.
Everything.
I agree.
Even if we talk about minuscule stuff,
Mhm.
still be lost. Because the point of this side of the fence is we handle our own affairs. And the only way you're going to do that is if you study.
Put on the headphones.
Like think about it like this. 8 or whatever, 9 years old or whatever, right? He's just sitting there watching the computer, and a robot with a fez comes up and he runs to his dad to show him, hey, look, it's a robot with a fez on. And his dad's, oh, I never seen that before ever. Like, that's amazing because I never seen that before.
Seen
And
that
you
one.
picked that up, and you're 8. right? He has no intentions of abandoning his birthright. Because he knows what it is. At 8, however old he is. And then there's people out here that we can't even get them to even look at a fez, much as say it out their mouth, say fez. That's, no, I can't say that. Say you're a Moor. Go try that with all those Nuwapians and all those people. You guys respect the Moors? Yeah, we respect the Moors. You know, we don't understand what they're doing. Whatever. Okay, say you're a Moor then.
I'm not quite sure what that means.
I don't want to call myself a Moor because just say you're a Moor. Like, what's the problem? Why is it so hard to say that you're a Moor out of your mouth? Because all of our people, they got some serious mental slavery going on. And it's a challenge. Getting out of this mental slavery. It's not just, you know, look at Khalid Muhammad, right? He came up, he proclaimed his nationality because, you know, it's all you got to do. All I got to do is say it, and if I say it, then, you know, they can't touch me. And they killed him because he wasn't active with it. So you kind of come across like you're fronting because, you know, you just saying it. But then if we go over here and we ask you some questions about, you know, a Maxim and whatever, you don't know what that is. But you say that you proclaim your nationality. If you proclaim your nationality, then that means you have knowledge of your nationality, which means you should know that this is Morocco, and you should know that, you know, the great law of the great peace is what founded the United States government, and that, you know, Moors and Europeans were the ones that set up the United States of America, and, you know, the Statue of Liberty is a sister, and Canada is named after Canaanland, and all this stuff is supposed to be what we know if we say that we proclaim our nationality. But proclaiming your nationality isn't all. People think that that's all because of these dirty Moors giving these people this passive position that they can just sit back. Oh yeah, I'm a Moor. Oh yeah, I'm a Moor. I'm Moorish American, so I proclaim my nationality, honors the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, Islam, whatever, but they're not doing anything with that birthright that they just got back by proclaiming their nationality. They're just sitting on it. They're not doing anything. They're not doing anything to assist Moors, not doing anything to assist themselves, not doing anything to assist Negro, black, colored people, get them out of this or whatever. They're just, yeah, oh yeah, get my fez, you know, put it under my arm, walk to the temple, Friday, Holy Day service, put on my fez, Islam, take out the fez, go home, and then that's it. Get tickets, go in and pay it. Right? The IRS telling them or CRA telling them you need to pay or whatever, and they're just paying. I thought you proclaim your nationality. Or you ask them, you proclaim your nationality? Yeah. But then police ask them about their nationality, or they're going to get a license or whatever because, you know, they don't want no hassles. When, if you proclaim, you're supposed, the next step is to be active. If you proclaim, if you said it out of your mouth, for example, proclamation, the act of proclaiming or publishing a formal declaration, an avowal. The act of causing some state matters to be published or made generally known. A written or printed document in which are containing such matters issued by proper authority. Also, the public nomination made of any one of the high office. As such, a prince was proclaimed emperor. Proclamation. Right? So if the prince was proclaimed emperor, then he can't act like a prince if he's proclaimed the emperor. If the prince is proclaimed the emperor, he should be acting as an emperor because he's not a prince no more. And he made a proclamation as a prince. As prince whatever, I'm the emperor. Alright, so if you're the emperor, then now you should be exercising as the emperor. You're not going to say I'm a prince, proclaim to be an emperor, and not act as an emperor. That's counterproductive. You might as well not proclaim to be anything. You should just shut your mouth and stop being a prince. And remember, proclamation is done since 2010. We just put it in the paper now. So the people have access to it. Instead of having to carry around these 12 papers that we sent over to everybody. We broke it down in short form, now it's in the paper, anybody can access it. Because that's their proclamation, it's not our proclamation. We're doing it on behalf of the people. And now that the proclamation is made, it's for the people to pick up their birthright and do whatever they will with it, because proclamation is made. These people know what's up. You think all this madness going on with Rob Ford isn't because of the Moors? Sending them writs and stuff like that? Demanding them, oh yeah, you guys need to recognize Noble Drew Ali January 8th as Noble Drew Ali Day or whatever. They're buying time. They know it's over. Let that would have been a brother mayor. They would have got him out of office so fast. He's smoking crack on the job or whatever like that. You're out of here. You're out of here. We're not even hearing anything from you. They would have got the deputy mayor in there so fast, got that brother out of there. They would have had charges against him, everything. But why? Why they didn't do that to Ford? Because Ford, he's Ford a bad man. For a rude boy. You're not touch Ford. You know who his dad is? You're not touching that guy. You'll talk about oral and whatever on TV, 6 o'clock news and all that. And they're not gonna do nothing to him. You know who his dad is? He has fiat power. That's why he can come out and he can talk. I'm running again. And I'm gonna win. No stops there. You know what I mean? And he's a crackhead.
Daddy says so.
He's Pookie and the cheeseburger guy from Menace. but he's a mayor of somebody, over some people. He's a crackhead. Crackhead admitted himself, yes, I smoked the crack. And he's in office still? And the little man at the school board there, he just plagiarized some stuff and they ousted him. Yes. They ousted him. They got him out ASAP.
Just 2 sentences.
2 sentences this man copied. He copied 2 sentences. And they ousted him as superintendent of the school board, but the mayor admit on TV that he smoked crack. And he's still the mayor. That's power. It might be corporate power or whatever, but that's power.
You will get voted back in.
We're not talking about, you know, he sniffed some lines or, you know, like he smoked crack.
And on company time too.
On company time.
You know?
Sniff crack.
Oh man.
Smoke crack, I mean.
Wow.
Right? And he gets nothing. No different than all these officers that, you know, do whatever and nothing happens to them. Why? How come Pope rape little boys and get off? All the time. Not a few times, all the time. Right? Because they have power.
Church and state.
Church and state. That they tell people church and state separate, but the state is helping the church rape little boys or whatever, because, you know, the state is the one that those churches are registered with. So that means they're down with each other. But if we let them tell it, you'll think that churches over here, and they do the holy stuff over there, and then the states over here, and they do the taxes stuff or whatever, and there's a big gap in the middle. When their brethren working together to rape youth. Because we're not clear about what our birthright is. We don't want to listen to Noble Drew Ali. We want to listen to all these other people around here and think that they know what birthright is, because, you know, they did whatever it is that they did. They got credentials, badges, and whatever like that. They went to the army, war, and everything. So yeah, we'll back them. But Noble Drew Ali, they don't know about. They want to claim that they were kings and queens of Europe, kings and queens of Africa, kings of queens of whatever. When they don't even acknowledge, their own prophet. Right? That's violation, right? They don't recognize the seer, but they recognize the overseer. I want to complain about getting the read. When they don't recognize the seer, but they recognize the overseer. And they give the overseer all their power just by mentally abandoning their birthright. They're not physically abandoning it, because they mentally abandon it. They disconnect themselves from the Americans, right? Once they disconnect themselves from the Americans, they abandon their birthright. Because they're not making any, they can't make any claims in this land. They can't talk in this jurisdiction unless you're talking from the perspective as more. You lose, no matter what you say. That's how we say it. Don't do that with the straw man, because as soon as you go there, you just killed yourself.
And if you do, make sure your rights reserved. Make sure you reserve your rights.
And then that's a whole nother level of study that people are studying that. I haven't been putting it out there. But it's the people's birthright. Like, you can't, it's not, this isn't the, like all these other groups where because I'm the head of the thing, I'm going to teach you everything that you know, and you don't have to study anything because, you know, as the head, my job's to give you everything. Whatever. That ain't happening. I'm not going down. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. And then that goes for them too. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. If they don't tell, the truth's still going to come out. If they do tell, then they're basically making themselves look like liars, which they don't want to do that either.
They won't tell.
And they won't tell. They won't tell anything. No. They're not. It's not in their best interest to tell. No. But it's a deep rabbit hole, yo. And the plot always thickens when we get in this. There's not no end game with regard to this. There's no, yeah, we reached the end of the, yeah, we don't have to fight the beast no more or whatever. That ain't happening. Because they've been in our seat for hundreds of years, and I don't think they're getting up just because we say something. Maybe if we have enough of us saying something, but that's not even going to happen. Because no majority prophesies that. So there's not even nothing to wait for. Whoever wants to get down, get down. This is how far we got. If you got something to add on, let's keep it moving. If you don't have anything to add on, cool, you could chill and, you know, enjoy class and enjoy lectures and enjoy DVDs and books and whatever like that. That's cool. That's their position. But guaranteed, there's going to be people coming in, and when you see them pulling up with their own plates and all that type of stuff, and that's when people are like, oh, they got their own plates, and oh, they don't have those laminated cards anymore. They got hard cards now, and now they're going to get on. Right? Because the ark's built, and they could actually see something that, oh, wow, yeah, it's actually real. But now, during the stage of, you know, construction boots and walking through cement and all that stuff like that, nobody's not game for that.
But isn't it always better to be in a position where you can say that you helped build something?
Yeah, exactly. That's what the idea is, right? Because it'll be worth more to you if you got your hands dirty. But if people ain't getting their hands dirty in this, and they just think, you know, open the door, come in, and close the door, and that's it. That's all that's going on. Like, you're not taking ownership. You're not gonna try to get a key for the spot or nothing like that. Just waiting for us to do everything. And hey, you know, we can only do so much. You know, we got 2 hands, 2 legs. You know. So
that's it.
It's gonna go where it's supposed to go, but where it goes is based on the people who proclaim their nationality and then they're actually active with it. Meaning that they're taking their place in in making sure that they don't get caught up in this corporate quicksand. And that they stay on the bank and, you know, they know where the quicksand's at. You know, you got your little sticker or whatever like that. Because you know that if you go in there, you might not make it out. So try to stay out of that messing with stuff and whatever, and just study so you know for yourself. When you know for yourself, then nobody can tell you about Nuwapians and you should be NOI and you should be a Rastafarian and you should be, when you already studied and you know that, man, I'm not going to enslave myself or abandon my birthright to join you guys' group. If I join you guys' group, you guys better take me as a proper person, as Moorish American or whatever. And when I come in there, I'm coming in there to make sure that all the people who are in there, they proclaim their nationality. And I bet you if you go there, they also call you rebel rouser or whatever. Because everybody's running from this. Even conscious people, even Moors are running from their own birthright. That we know personally. They're not secret Moors. Moors we know personally that used to be up in this temple right here. They don't even come here no more. Running from their birthright. Abandoned. That's up to them. It's their birthright. If they want to abandon it. It has nothing to do with me if they abandon it. It's not me getting my ass kicked. So if that's that, well, any more questions?
That's it.
Straight for now, next week? Next week, yo, again? Because, believe me, it's needed, yo. Trust me, it's needed. And you already know. You go to the boys up the street up there, you know that they're not teaching no law about nothing up there. Zero law. No, it's a fact. And they're part of a nation. According to their founder, they're part of a nation. But they don't want to get down with this. They haven't even been down here yet. Come in the store, nothing. Check nothing out, whatever. You know, same thing you're talking about with, you know, with unity or whatever. They ain't a game for no unity. They'd have been down here if there's a game for unity. Whoever we talk about. All them people got invited. By me personally, I know personally, I invited Rastafarians come here. I invited Moabians come here. Nation of Islam, Garveyites, Black, Negro, Color, whoever you name them, they got invited to come here. And if they don't, it's I'm not, you know, I'm not worried.
They're more quicker to jump on, jump into the boat that's already, you know what I mean, lavish, you know.
Which is the problem.
What?
Which is the problem. Like that's slave mentality. That's slave mentality.
That's just people, man.
That's slave mentality. That you
a lot of it is what they learn.
Where they learn it from.
You know what I'm saying?
Where they learn it from.
You heard the saying, you know, knowledge is key, right? So when you have knowledge, you pretty much know how to get in and out of your house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I guarantee majority of them are losing their houses too.
It's lack of knowledge.
Ignorance is no excuse. How about that? If we're gonna quote stuff.
I think a lot of it has to do with, like, you know, how it's portrayed. It's
If you don't study, you'll never know. Don't study, you'll never know. So if there's no more comments, we'll
I got
close
one
out.
comment. Just people get agitated when they're told that they have to study, and that's their problem. And then they blame it on the person telling them to study. And yeah, it's just a downfall.
Because I mean, I could, you know, we could lie to people. We could lie. We could lie to people and we could tell people, you don't want to study? All right, well, you know, we got this there. You can take this to the court and they'll expunge your stuff. $500. And we got people to pay.
I like when it's
Because
personal.
everybody out there is desperate.
You know, when it's personal, you get the picture. It's easier to get the picture.
It's the only way it's going to be personal is if that individual wants it. It's like I was telling the brother earlier. If you don't know and you ask a question, the answer that you get, you better be willing to accept it because you're asking. And if you're gonna ask a question and then get an answer and then don't like the answer that you got, then you should have just went and studied yourself. So why are you asking questions then? If I get asked something and I give an answer, and then the person who I give the answer to, their reply is, well, I don't know if that, and I don't know. So why are you asking stuff?
Because you don't know, so why you
You should have just went and studied, and you would have known what I know.
Yeah, certain things you can just study. It's like math, right?
Everything's studyable.
Everything is study, man.
That's how long it takes you.
Everything's a study.
Like, for example, there's a brother I know, right, who,
This is
He was
something now I
supposed
don't
to-
understand. I don't understand.
there was a brother I know, right, who he was supposed to go to college, to go do something in college, right? And he just said, yo, forget it. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna go. He connected with somebody in the class, right? Got the freaking course outline, right? Every time they got tests or whatever, he got the tests and all that stuff. And he taught himself how to be a contractor and build stuff and put up walls and trim and thresholds and doors and whatever. He taught himself that. But people are paying 5, 6, 7 G's to go learn.
Where?
He just went and got the books.
In this society?
Yeah.
Hell no.
Huh?
What do you mean?
Hell no.
What are you talking about?
Man,
See,
everything
that's
is
the type of answers
regulated.
that people
Everything
can't
is
tolerate.
regulated.
That's the
here.
type of
Man.
Everything is regulated here.
Brothers
Yes,
trying to tell you,
okay,
man, you
well-
know the brother.
Requirements here.
Listen,
Man,
Don't fly
stop,
here,
man, stop.
That's
You're
not-
playing, man. You're playing.
We're
You're
not
playing.
talking
You're playing.
factual, man. We're talking.
playing.
Okay, if you don't know,
You're playing.
right? And you don't have no piece of paper, because that's the only thing that really.
No experience.
Validate.
He
Our
could be
credential
making his
is
money,
paper.
making his cash money, knowing that he doesn't have the certificate, but he's running his trade. You know what I mean?
He's running it, yeah.
He's running his trade, and
He knows what he's doing. He has to know what he's doing. That's the only way.
He studied.
He studied himself.
So
He
he
didn't
knows. He studied. He didn't go to no school to go learn.
I have
Okay,
studied
think
a
about
lot of
this.
stuff, and I have
Okay.
been in census groups, right, where they choose to see otherwise. It's not like they don't know that what I'm saying isn't right. They choose to see otherwise, and all I can say, it comes down to, you know, what is according with the group, right? And because it's according with the group, that's going to make it fly.
I don't know. I just see this brother teaching himself, and if he does a good job, and if the person that hired him refers him to someone else, and he's doing a good
Are
job,
we talking about a trade?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, but you know, it's you gotta know what you're doing because they have.
Well, how do you
The
know?
city
By
has
studying.
regulations, right? Let's say we're doing a trade like carpentry, for instance.
Okay,
The
carpentry,
city
good
has
one.
regulations.
Okay.
Regulations for what, though?
It has
What's
regulations to construct.
Who's regulations?
Listen,
for
man.
anyone who's
Check
doing-
it.
who's doing
Check it.
construction.
Go online right now, and I bet you could find a handyman, and he ain't been to school or anything. Bet you could find an electrician. He ain't been to school. Plumber. Whatever trade you want to find, go online. You could find someone to do it, and they'll
Never
do it
been
for
to
you.
School.
They haven't been, never been to school.
I'm not saying that you gotta go to school, but
What are you saying?
The person gotta know what he's doing,
Well,
and in order for you to know what you're doing, someone has to show you it.
absolutely.
Okay.
How about
So
yourself?
what does regulation have to do with anything, though?
How about yourself showing you how to do it?
It goes so far with yourself. Like if you
Well,
just wanna be like a man that just put up like chicken coops
trial and
and then
error
put like
teaches
a
you.
zinc
Trial
on
and
top
error.
of
Trial
it.
and
There you
error
go.
teaches
If
you.
you can get the
that's
same,
hot.
if you can get the same books,
But I'm talking about like
As
you
somebody
really
taking it
building
in
things
school.
that you know what I mean. It regulates.
Do
you
it.
to the city.
you just do it.
Regulate what? No, it's not us. Don't worry about that. You want a house? Build your house.
Man, I'm trying to put out an idea that's going to be recognized and respected by others.
Such
It
as?
has to be.
You have
has
to
be
respect it
res-
yourself
has
and
to be-
recognize it.
Even if I'm doing the work has to be respected, and the work has to be appreciated. That they can see that yes, I did good work, I do a good job. I'm not trying to do a shabby job and then do a shabby job and then
Okay.
folks say, okay, well, you ain't gonna make it in this place.
Who's gonna say that?
'Cause I
Who's gonna
cannot-
say that?
I'm just saying, the person
It's trial
who's
and
teaching
error.
me, yeah, it's trial and error, but you gotta learn it from someone.
I'll give you an
that knows it.
example.
No,
You see
no,
that
no.
whiteboard back there? You know how heavy that thing is? That whiteboard.
Okay, yeah.
I put it up myself.
That's pretty simple, but I'm not talking simple
What?
stuff. I'm talking
not-
complicated
it's not
stuff.
simple.
I'm talking.
Do you know how heavy that
I'm talking along the
whiteboard
lines
is?
of, like,
Yo,
building.
No, but
Building
there's
a
measurements that I
house,
had to do to
right?
get that up
And
there.
you know we got. I know a few things about building a house, so I can explain this. And I can talk.
Go ahead.
I can talk.
And you're speaking to an
about-
electrician and a plumber and a carpenter as well too.
Right.
And I didn't go to school
You
to
know,
do none of those
you know,
things.
in a wall,
Yes,
the way how the city's regulation, cities has a building code, right?
absolutely.
And you're supposed to position the wall frames.
Wall
a certain
frames 8
distance,
inches,
6
16 inches by frame
Yes.
by center, 12 inches most of them. Yes.
Yes, right. So
Yeah, but
there's
that
other
regulation wasn't created
other
by the city.
regulations too
What?
that they have.
But that regulation wasn't created by the city.
Wasn't created.
That's a standard.
That's a
Okay, but you see, if I didn't know that was a consensus agreement on that standard, I would build something else that would not fit the standards.
Such as?
standing. So that's why I'm saying I have to be around someone that would know what he's doing. Obviously, for me to do the trial and error on it, because I'm sure if that person is well skilled, and he knows what he's doing, I would be definitely able to do a good job.
Okay,
too
but
with
what
doing.
does you learn in how the, as I just mentioned, 8 inches by 12 inches by 16 inches?
There's more
What does
to
that
it.
have to do
There's
with
more to it.
regulation?
There's
That's
more to
someone
it.
teaching you.
There's more to it. Now that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. There's
But what
there's
does
other
regulations have to do with that, though?
The other standards. There's other, like cheat sheets to the game, right? It's not all going to be,
Okay,
oh,
but-
you gotta learn it all by yourself, right? If you
But
if you
that's
know
what
I'm
he's
saying,
talking
and you
about,
learn
though.
it
I
all
don't-
by yourself and you're falling down and
At the end of the day,
you know
it's
what I
to
mean?
each his own. If a
Yeah.
brother could learn,
Yes, do it
the
yourself.
work and do it.
What?
then yeah, if one person needs
Get a
that
book and do it.
person to teach them and to get the work done, either way the work is getting done.
Yeah.
His point is
What does
that you don't
regulation
go to
have to do with
school
that?
And go through the teaching.
What does regulation have to do
Pay
with
all that
that?
$7,000 to learn how to do
Yeah.
carpentry when there's a brother that taught
Yeah.
himself by buying the books himself
Yeah.
and getting the work
I'm just
done.
saying it only goes so far, right?
Listen, trust me.
It
If
goes
you
so
need a
far.
house built and you're out in the wilderness, you're gonna build that house.
It only goes so
Well,
far based
well,
on you.
What?
There's no standards. There's no standards.
There's no
I'm
standards
Not building
what?
it, I'm not building it on terms where it's like it's
Standard for what? You need a
it's
house
the city
built.
folks. You know what I mean? If I'm dealing with the city, I'm living in the city of Toronto, right? Let's
Yes.
stick with the city in Toronto. I'm not talking no bush talk. We're dealing with the city of Toronto.
Yes.
And there is standard and there's a way that the city of Toronto runs things. They go about their business, right? Now, in the business of carpentry, they have their standards, they have what's acceptable, they have what's unacceptable. I'm not trying to do unacceptable work. And then because I'm out there saying I'm a go-getter, right? And me being a go-getter is really not what is acceptable.
Okay, so what you're
in-
saying is
in-
you're
in
gonna
the
wait
terms- in the
until
terms-
you get the
He's critiquing
recognition.
me. He's critiquing the words that are coming
No,
out, but
but-
he's not critiquing the understand the
I am-
message.
'cause
You're not
I am-
understand the message.
I
You're
understand
picking
the
me apart.
message.
I went through this. I know.
I understand the message, but the message that you're saying to me, that from what I'm getting, if this is my understanding, is that you're gonna wait for someone to give you the recognition with the regulations in order for you to start to do something.
Isn't that how things are run?
Well, maybe that's how things run for you. But
And you want it
if
from the
I need
city.
something
Is that
done,
how it runs in the city?
in which city? Toronto?
Yes.
No.
That's not how it runs in the city.
If I need something done, I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna wait for a regulator to come and tell me that that's not the right way to do it.
Or the acceptance of
Or the accepted way to do it.
But
If my roof is leaking,
in order to do what's passed.
okay, but if my roof
Right?
is
In order to
leaking
do
right
what's
now, what am I
past
gonna do?
grade
Am I gonna wait for the city to come and tell me?
I'd have to see. I'd have to see it.
Okay,
right?
but if
'Cause
my-
I don't know how to make a banister, right?
Look-
I'm sure I can watch videos, but
Yes.
they don't go
I'm not
into
talking
depth
about
with
that.
the videos.
I'm talking about getting it done. If my roof is leaking, and it's been leaking for 3 weeks, and I'm waiting for the city to come and give me a code to say, well, you know what, if you don't do it this way, to regulate, but it's still leaking. They were standing there with me watching it leak. Should I wait for them to give me the regulations to fix that, or should just go fix the damn leak?
Yeah, fix the damn leak.
Okay.
All right.
But what about
That's it. But what regulations do I need?
Don't
You guys
worry.
ain't getting
Period.
it, man.
What am I getting? I'm a landlord.
Period.
I'm a landlord.
That's it.
If my
Period.
tenant calls me and says my roof
Period.
is leaking, I say, you know what? I can't fix it. I gotta call the city to get it fixed.
Period.
Because they need to give me regulations to do it.
That's it right there.
What,
The tenant needs the roof leak because it's leaking on them. I have to fix that leak. I could call someone to do it, but I gotta fix that leak. If I have to wait for 2 weeks to fix it,
Okay.
it's gonna keep leaking.
Fixing a leak is good, but there's other aspects and there's other things, right? That a house would need in order. If I was a refurbisher, right? Like I go around and I fix up houses, right?
Yes.
There would be other aspects of the home that I would need to know how
Absolutely.
to fix in case I come across that. So this is what I'm
Absolutely.
saying, right? This is what I'm saying. Instead of me saying, okay, well, I go and sweet talk some contractor downtown or down on John Street, right? And they would even give me the shot. I know that for sure, to go and say I'm gonna fix up some type of home. They would, and I don't have no type of requirements, no type of thing that.
But what does that have to do with regulations?
Portfolio. If your portfolio says that you've done this type of work, like obviously you're not approaching them with no experience.
No one is going to take me serious. This is what I'm trying to say to you.
It depends on how you
Depends on how you approach it.
It goes so far. It goes so far, and
That's fine,
It goes so
but-
far. With it is, I'm talking from a standpoint that I'm trying to learn it, everything about it, but just at least learn something. You know what I mean? So then I can at least have that something I can speak about that I know how to do
Confidence.
to the person. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you, but I'm going back to that leak. You have the roof is leaking. What are you gonna do?
I don't understand you.
Your roof is leaking.
Okay. Forget,
What are you gonna
forget
do?
the roof. Forget the roof.
What
Right?
I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get someone to fix it. Who knows what they're doing?
And who knows if they have the
But who knows it-
credentials that you expect them to have.
Yeah, it's the same.
And if
as
they
those
check the
others.
standards of the
So what you gonna do?
whatever. You don't know if they checked everything.
You don't know if they check the standards.
What do you mean?
You need the roof fixed. What are you gonna do? Like that's the
we're
whole.
not, we're not talking about a doctor's office where you're going and seeing a plaque on the wall.
Yeah.
We're talking about somebody who's coming to your house. They have just bags, a case or whatever like
Yeah.
that. Fix the roof. They go up there, they fix the roof, and then the roof's fixed. You're not asking them, can I see your
Yeah.
qualifications to see
You
if
need the
you're
roof
really
fixed.
a roof fixer, or
Yeah.
are you just somebody that just came from around the corner? Like doesn't matter.
Fix the roof.
The problem is that there's a problem.
You know what?
And you're gonna get that problem fixed. Whether you call somebody or whether
Yeah.
you do it yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I hear that, bro.
Yeah.
Like
I hear that. I hear you too, bro.
Yeah. Just fix the
what-
roof.
that's what
Like
it is, yo.
anyway.
there ain't nothing else. There's nothing else for us to
Okay.
they can't go anywhere else.
And all this started with him just giving me an example of a brother that learned his trade without going to school and spending thousands of dollars. And
Yeah.
you jumped on him and said, nah, that can't be. Like, how
I'm
do you
sure,
answer
I'm sure.
that way?
I'm sure. I believe that.
Okay,
I'm a believer for that.
But
that's what creates the problem, is you just not believing things that can happen.
it's like, what do you want? Like, it all goes back to know thyself. Goes all around back to know thyself. Right? So it's.
I'm telling you, man. Like you like.
What are you telling?
I'm a good traveler, eh? And when I travel, like I see the road, like I'm like these hills, eh? These hills make me see the road like for like miles away. You know what I mean? And I'd be seeing like an accident go off right there. And I know there's gonna be a stop and stagnation right on that road. I go right.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I bet you that 500 other people
They wouldn't see
on
it.
that hill
They
saw
wouldn't
that thing coming up and they see stagnation and they're gonna make that right too.
No pun intended. You know what I mean? It's a scenario that you can look at it like as a general scenario, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I just mean it for it to be vague stuff.
Yo, Vagity is gonna get you kidnapped by these mercenaries out here because either you're specific or you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we definitely gotta be specific.
Alright, so vagueness can't work. Vagueness is destruction.
Yeah.
So you can't be vague. You have to be specific, especially if you get on this. You can't be vague with this. You can't be talking about, well, yeah, you know, well, the qualifications for the city is, you know, this and that. You just gave the city jurisdiction over your building. And then you're going to be mad when they come and they tax you out of it.
You can't talk like that.
Yeah.
That's
Once you talk,
What are you talking about?
That's anti-unity, yo.
what's
In
that
what
kind
way?
of-
What do you mean?
Yo,
In what
because
way?
if the city governs the
No, the city
whole
doesn't
people,
govern.
or the people in the city
Yo,
governs it.
city's
Listen,
a
hear what I'm
corporation.
saying. Hear what I'm saying.
City's
hear
a
what I'm
private
saying.
corporation.
Hear what I'm
They
saying.
don't govern people.
Yo, we're together with this, man. Okay, and I'm saying I can't do something different than everybody else that's do it. That's agrees that this is what we're gonna run it. You know what I mean? And I'm doing something different. Like what you just said, something like, say, yo, you wanted me to go do something totally different. You want they're doing. You see what I'm saying? Like, we can't do that.
Why do you have this allegiance to the city? Like,
What does
Because I live with
that's
people.
the
I
problem.
live with the
What does the city do for you?
So I'm understanding where they're coming from.
Like you live
before-
with people, you're like you got the
I
city,
live
I-
with the city.
and you got the regulations, and you got the
I
people. That's two different entities that you're talking about.
You know the
Right.
city's a private corporation, right?
Man, all it is studying,
Okay,
man.
so the city
That's-
belongs to somebody else. It's not
Yeah,
belong
so
to
city belongs to somebody else, not the people.
Okay, so
So why are you gonna
people
Uh,
let them
live
regulate?
in a place where
No,
somebody
it's
else?
just as, you know, it's,
Huh?
Why do
it's,
people live in somewhere? Are the people even down with that private,
With what?
that privateness?
Some people have no choice. More people
Some
have
people-
I'm not trying.
That's up to them. They
That's
abandoned
their
their birthright,
job.
so they're slaves.
Holy
What do you,
Dang,
ju-
man.
just like we're saying, Moore got kidnapped last weekend. He got kidnapped by showing his nationality card. Guess what happened?
What?
Guess what happened?
So what you mean nationality is
Guess what happened?
there's
Why
nothing-
why you answer the
man,
question?
we're a whole lot of
Why you
dangerous
answer the
people
question?
then, man.
Why you answer the question? Guess what happened?
Yo,
Guess what happened?
what?
Guess what happened? He went to court, right? He went to court, right? He got bail, right? And he didn't have to sign no bail papers. They let him out from the back door of the court. They didn't take him back to the prison
So why
They
would
let him
he
out
even
from
get
the
in
court.
jail first in the first place?
because they have to run the game to make all the dumb jackasses who don't study think that they're the authority and they have the badges and they have the jails and they have the whatever, and then we're gonna drag him on the ground for a little bit. We're gonna put cuffs on him, kick him in his back. But then when he's in the cell,
Yeah.
we're at his cell talking to him about, yeah, so I heard you guys don't pay taxes. There's a couple guys in here, they're getting what's it called? Garnishee. 80% of their check, and they want to know how could they get out of it.
What did that
They want to know
individual
how they
do?
can get out of
What
this.
did individual do? Enable to get in jail.
It's pumping gas.
It's pumping gas.
Yeah, pumping gas.
Hey man, this sounds very entertaining, man. But man, I got a slider.
yeah, well, go ahead. But as I said, it all comes down to studying, bro.
And how is people
Yeah,
supposed to take
it
you
does,
seriously?
it does.
Yeah.
But
How are
if
people
you,
supposed to take
you
if
seriously?
you're
No,
talking
no,
something
you-
that they know and they still going to do it
What do you
against
mean?
you.
No, but
It's the same thing we're saying
Same thing we're saying from the- Nah, you're playing games.
Why is the same
You're
from the
playing
person who
You
games.
have that same attitude.
You're playing
You have
games.
that same attitude as
You're,
they do. If you're
you're
gonna say, you
playing
know
games,
what?
bro.
All
Like,
this is
yeah,
entertaining.
you're
and
playing
I gotta
games,
slap.
man. You're,
Good night, people.
yeah, you're playing
Nice seeing you, man.
in 2 months. See you in 2 months, bro.
We'll see you in a bit. I know you'll be back.
Yeah.
I know you'll be back.
Anyway, on that note,
Five on the left, two on the right.
What's up? How are you doing? All right.
Sometimes
Yeah,
I forgot
girl,
that.
what's up?
Sometimes we have
I just
to let
wanted
them
to let
vent,
you
you know.
finish saying your piece.
Boy.
Come back. Oh my gosh.
okay.
We just close out. Allah, the Father of the universe,
Allah, the Father of the universe,
Father of love,
Father of love, truth,
peace, freedom, and justice.
and justice.
Allah is my protection,
Allah is my protection,
my guide,
and
my salvation.
and my salvation.
By night
By night
and by day,
through His holy prophet,
Through His holy prophet,
Noble Drew Ali,
Islam.
Islam. Peace.
Peace.
Nah, just playing games, man.
Remember, study,
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 man.
study.
Like, come on, like.